Chapter 4 Orbital. The final wall has fallen. Those words brought silence to the hall of the chapter masters. It turned one defeat into an even greater one. The chapter masters looked at Kurland. They represented their chapters, but he was the Imperial Fist. It was a dark reminder of the extermination that has not been seen since the Horus Heresy. The Marshal of the Black Templars told the second captain that he offered his condolences and regret. The use of his title was not missed on Kurland. He thanked the Marshals and his brothers for their condolences and for answering the call of the last wall. The destruction of the Imperial Fist needs to be the spur of action that the chapter masters needed, though they didn't like that wording, to be honest. Communication has been a problem when dealing with the Orks, so he proposed to have one leader command their united chapters. This surprised all chapter masters. Kurland knew he would have Thane on his side, and because they had a connection of loss. Issachar of the Exocariators showed no sign, but he wasn't outright hostile. Quesedra was sharp, and now it was between Kurland and the Marshal Bohemond. The Crimson Fist said the sounds kinda bad. Like recreating the Legion bad. Kurland mentioned that there would be no change in color or banner or name, that they would act like fingers of a fist until the threat was defeated. Of course, the assumption that provisorial measures have been taken before and they led to permanent changes was brought up, but it was dismissed. Thane and the Marshal understood that the Imperium needed cooperation and purpose, because that's what the Orks had and they were lacking. Issachar wondered who would best be fit to command them. Kurland wanted to be direct, but being close to the High Lords rubbed off on him. The Marshal instead had no such experience, and he proposed himself. His plan was to take the fight to the Ork Moons. When Thane asked about Terra, the Marshal said Lansung has his precious fleet there. Kurland wasn't sure it was a good idea to leave the Marshal to lead. He knew the Imperial Fist would disapprove of the Black Templars' every decision and would challenge them without a moment's thought. The discussion then changed to the deployment, until Slaughter realized he was a chapter master without chapter. He had no interest or agenda to push, no warriors that would benefit him being the leader of this formation. He would fight for what he had to, but the terrain was not his to contest. When the council ended, the Castellan showed Kurland's quarters, but he took note of where Laurentis and the rest of the delegations were. He found Quesedra in a small observation chamber. The two talked. The Crimson Fist knew Kurland didn't think the Marshal should be leading. He made fun of Kurland wanting to be leader, saying he should do the Marshal for that position, but he can ask Issachar how that ends, making fun of the Exocariators' chapter master's bionic hand. Kurland was determined to do so if need be. He also mentioned how the High Lords failed the Imperium with their politics. First news came of the victory at Port Sanctus. New chapters joined the meeting, and then later came the cry from Terra. The council was more sullen. The Marshal informed the other chapter master what was happening, and for all they knew, Terra might have fallen already. And so, Kurland stood up and made a pretty decent speech about how the Imperium would survive, and how the Imperial Fists aren't gone because the Sons of Dorn still live. And he claims their right to leadership, not in his name, but in that of Rogo Dorn, of the 7 Legion whose values they still hold. Thane got up and called him brother, chapter master, and captain, while shaking his hand. Then Thane said he would gladly follow him in battle. Issachar also supported him, but Kurland wasn't so sure he was 100% in it. It might have been just a pragmatic decision. Quesedra only said agreed. The Marshal smiled. His was the last vote, and he said he would not break the unanimity of the table. He got up to Kurland, grabbed his arm, and told him, "Lead us, brother." What Kurland had made here could easily be destroyed if he was uncareful, or not careful. He was building a wall, but he wondered if there was anything left for the wall to defend.